Well, hello, I'm Drew Walsh, this Domain to Profit. If you are watching this on Restream, live is the way to watch it, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us. Join the great community that's here. Lots of good stuff ahead, and including lots of domain names that are expiring. So the previous owner is letting them go, and we are searching through the hundreds of thousands of expiring domain names to find the best ones, the ones that have an opportunity for you to create the future you want, to build the business, to just have a really cool domain name for your blog, for your personal page, whatever it may be. If you're looking for the best internet real estate, you're going to have an opportunity to find it here each and every week, 3 p.m. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and join us each week. We've been here for what 106 weeks now? 106 weeks in a row doing exactly this. So there you go. And I am Drew Walsh. Why would you join it? Why am I doing this show? Well, I am a domain name fan. I've made lots and lots of money off of domain names by developing them, taking great domain names, towing.com being one, djs.com, photobooths.com, taking premium domain names, generic domain names that kind of represent an industry, and then I've developed them into websites, sharing them with the small businesses that work in those industries. And in turn, I use that real estate, that digital real estate, to make money for myself, provide the life I want for me, while I help them do the same for what they're trying to accomplish when they're small business. So big stuff is very possible with domain names, and I just share it right here with you. Nothing here to sell. Just I'll let you know about the domain names I'm going to be competing in auction for. Compete against me or don't, either way. So we are going to get started. I see people hopping into chat as of this point. So as you come in, make sure you say hi. Let us know that you're here. Let the community know that you're here. Lots of good stuff going on. We're going to give some refreshers about the kinds of domain names we're looking for each week. We don't talk about that enough. I want to make sure I'm repeating and showing some of the same graphics we've used, because what the heck is a good domain name? Well, we try to make sure you know what it is, so you don't waste your money on a bunch of garbage domain names. So, which is very common. It's very common. A lot of people think the domain name that they see or whatever, just, oh, that's a great domain. You'll find out if you watch us enough, watch domain, join us enough, you will realize the domain names you have in your portfolio already for that business idea you had or whatever may not be the best ones. So keep that in mind. You'll learn more as we go. I'm Drew Walsh, this Domain to Profit. Let's get it going right now.
From domain to profit, from a .com to a business idea. Take a domain name, develop an income from domain to profit. We'll show you how. Domain to profit, from domain to profit. Join Drew Walsh and get started right now.
Okay, I'll cut that. Matt, howdy. Nice to see you hopping in. And only an acre here sharing, saying hi to Matt. But hi, thanks for coming in. Everybody's a fan of Matt. He shares lots of great stuff in the chat, including some domain names that don't even make it to the show. So yeah, I'm a fan of Matt as well. Coaster G, nice to have you. And yes, a domain fanboy indeed. I may be probably the biggest domain fanboy that there is. Lots of people work in domain names, but I buy a lot of them, hold on to them, develop them, give them like shoulder massages. Okay, maybe. Bill Roy, nice to have you here. I'm not sure if I've seen your name. Glad to have you. Excited to see you here. Hopefully we find something great for you. Jeffrey, Wahoo. Yes, Wahoo. That's the kind of energy I got today. I like it. And yeah, another Matt fan. See, there we go. We need like a sub video thing for Matt. He actually does some game streaming. So maybe we can promote that sometime, Matt. Thank you all for joining. domain to profit here, and we look for domain names that we can profit from. And in many cases, yes, that is developing a business, developing some kind of profit, monetary profit. But in many cases, it can also be profit in the way of just access to an industry, or maybe you just are looking for more free time, or to take something you're already doing and to free it up in a way that the profit may be just sanity, ease of life, all good things, all good things. So what I want to do is hop over to this graphic here. Remember this? We haven't seen this in a while. So if you haven't joined us, if you've only been joining us over the last few weeks, you haven't seen this before. And this is what I consider what we're looking for here on Domain to Profit. We are looking for domain names that kind of fit into this. What is this? Well, look over there. That gray box represents the domain names we're looking for, indicated by domain.com. So every domain name out there can be built on. You can buy any garbage. You can get XYZ 923, any number of characters, and you could put something on it that makes money. And that's what that black building coming up, U.Inc. If you put work into any business, you can build on any domain name and make money. You can also take some of these premium domain names we talk about. You can buy them at auction for as low a price as possible, and then go find a buyer that's willing to pay you more for it. And you can buy and sell domain names. Many people will talk about domain names from that aspect. There's an entire industry around buying and selling domain names, trading and selling it like real estate, because it is digital real estate. It's internet real estate. So there's an entire industry that does that. That is not what we are here for. That's not necessarily the profit we are looking for. We want what's under the ground of that domain name. So if you were just like your real estate, maybe you grab some 100 acres out in the middle of Texas or something, and you put up an oil well. What is under your ground? You dig down, you put a pipe down there, and you're looking to strike oil. That is what we're looking for, the value that is deep underground, and then we just want to mine out that value. Or as I say over here, you'll see we just want to tap the value. We're just tapping it. If we were to put a little spigot on it, turn it on, we want something to come out, and that's going to be the value. So to do that, to pull value out of a domain name, it has to have authority. It has to have validation. And validation of what? Authority of what? Of an industry is what you're looking to accomplish. Like, you want access to an industry. Towing.com, access to the towing industry. Photo booths, access to the photo booth industry. DJs, see where I'm going here? You can do this with many different domain names, which we talk about every single week here. You'll see a bunch of them today as we go to the live expiring domain names here in just a few minutes. You will see domain names that will check these boxes. They will have authority. They will have validation. They will give you access to the industry in some way. And then up here is the test, the authority test that you can use. You're looking for a domain name if you were to call somebody, and you can actually do this with some of the domain names that we're going to do. You can call people in that industry and just give them a, hello, I'm with this domain.com, and I'm wondering if you are interested in advertising, or if you would be interested in being a member, or if I can send you some information on listening. What you are testing with that statement, hello, I'm with this domain, is, does it get you past the gatekeeper? Does it make their ears perk up and get their attention in such a way that they believe that you belong? Because, well, in the towing industry, I had no access. Like, I'm not a tower. I'm just some internet marketing geek. Like, I don't know towing. But Towing.com gave me access to that industry. Photo booth, same thing. And there's lots of different ways you can get access. One of the ways you can test it is that authority statement of, hey, I'm with this domain name.com. Would you be interested in? So then when we tap it, we're really just looking for a business model that allows us to pull just a little drip of value out over time in the form of reoccurring revenue. There you go. That's it. Towing.com, everybody joins as members, and we just share these domain names out with lots of small businesses, and it works out pretty well. So that's a little bit of the domain names that we're looking for. Always.com, which you'll see as we talk about the filters, as we set up this over here. Oh, that's the wrong one. To expiringdomains.net, which is this site here. This is that first secret, that first thing you're really going to want to make sure you have is expiringdomains.net. This is where you will be able to search through hundreds of thousands of expiring, deleted, dropped domain names. So make sure you get this domain name, sign up for the free account. There's just a link right above me to sign up. Well, it'll appear on your screen, not mine, because I'm already signed up. I'm already in here. So once you get that set up, your screen will be a white color. I have mine set up to dark mode. Just I think it looks better as my background. So, and then as you see down over here is the filters that we use for the show to pull up our expiring domain names. So I'm just going to go ahead. I have it saved. And so what are the filters that we use? We get rid of numbers, get rid of hyphens. We look for .com only. Every other domain name just wishes they were a .com. And if you buy a different extension, any other extension, and you have success, you will always wish you had the .com. So I highly recommend you just stick with the .com. It's going to give you the most authority of validation. You can experiment with other stuff, but I don't do it. I've spent well over $1 million on domain names, and I do not mess with anything other than .com. I highly recommend you do not as well. So just keep that in mind. We filter on those things and only look at the domain names over the next week. We are specifically looking GoDaddy expired domain names, and you'll see that we whittled it down, filtered it down. Anyhow, we got it down to 88,000 domain names, of which we're only going to watch a couple hundred. We're only going to be able to see a couple hundred domain names, which is not that many. So you'll have to keep doing this, spending a lot of time on it, or as much time as you want. I spend about 2 hours looking at the domain names. So check out the filters that we have right here. You'll want to make sure you get those set up. And let's get started. First thing first, I order by the valuation. The valuation that we order by, that's a number that's provided by GoDaddy. It's only available on the GoDaddy expiring domain names. And it is, even though it's called valuation, it does not mean that that is the value of the domain name. In fact, just think of it as the score that orders that domain name. So if you think of it like that, it just helps us bring the best domain names to the top, or at least the best domain names in GoDaddy's calculations. You'll see that we skip over most of them. So just because they're scored or valued high, it doesn't mean they're actually worth that much. So we'll just watch it and just don't get caught up in the valuation. Many people will contact domain people like myself and be like, well, GoDaddy says it's worth this. Will you give me half of that? And it's like, no, that domain name's not worth anything. If you bought something that GoDaddy said was worth 8,000, it doesn't mean it's worth anything. It literally may mean it's worth zero. But it may be worth looking at as if it was an 8,000 valuation or ordered domain name. For example, Smart Remote. Interesting domain. Okay. Corrector.com. Let me zoom in here, bring this up to where you can see it, hopefully if you're on a mobile device or so. So corrector.com is one of the domain names we got up here. It's nice because it has a single keyword or a single word, but what the heck's a corrector? It sounds like somebody I want to punch in the nose. All those people that are always like, let's correct everybody's grammar and stuff. Anyhow, I always have horrible grammar, as you probably know if you've watched the show. Let me see. Wealth Nation, why go? So what we're going to do is we're going to go right down the list here. Some of them are good. Smart Remote sounds like a thing. And when we find a domain name that sounds like it may be good, sounds like we may be able to build on, we're going to take it to the next step. We're not going to go just with our gut. We're going to evaluate that domain name through various tools to know if that domain name is actually worth doing something. Using your gut is, even for a guy like me, is a quick way to lose a lot of money. So Smart Remote, 3 days left on the auction, already up over $1,000, which probably is outside of my price range for that domain name specifically. So what I've done is I pulled up SpyFu. SpyFu is a tool that you can, okay, my goodness, smart. Oh, I've never used a laptop before. This is the very first time. Not really, obviously, but okay, Smart Remote. SpyFu is a tool that we use to help us evaluate a domain name. So what we do is we take the domain name and we get rid of the .com and look at it from a standpoint of keywords. What are the words in those domain names? And the filters that we have right over here, those filters that we're going to set up also includes breaking it down into 1 to 3 English words. We don't see all the other words and letters put together and they wish they were words. We only look to 1 to 3 English words. You can play with those filters, even adding on a 4th word if you want. But that video that you'll see right down here, that video will walk you through the process and why we do it. So what we did was we dropped off .com. Smart Remote is the keyword we're going to look at, and we are going to pull up the keyword data for this. And this is using some Google data as well as their internal algorithms for SpyFu. There's lots of tools you can get keyword data from. This is what we use here, though. 900 searches are kind of available for this. So that means Smart Remote, the domain name that we're evaluating, smartremote.com. Those keywords of Smart Remote are searched in Google 900 times. 900 times you may be able to generate the traffic from Google from that. We're going to do a Control F. This is one of the things we talk about doing pretty frequently. And then we're going to do just a Control F, put the keyword in there. Now what it's going to do is it's even going to take the data set that we're already looking at, the keyword Smart Remote on SpyFu, and it's going to show us where our keyword shows up elsewhere. So we see Samsung Smart Remote, 1,200. GoPro Smart Remote, 1,000. So it looks like there's some products that use the word Smart Remote. Kind of nice. Helps get the value of that domain name up a little bit. But for the sake of what we do here, looking for domain names that we could turn into profit, we want to see the advertisers at 10 or higher. We want it as close to 10 at least. 0, not so good. Why do we want to see advertisers so high? Well, that means that there's people spending money to target this keyword. Why does that matter? Well, if they're targeting this keyword, when you call them and say, hey, you're already targeting smartremote.com or smart remote as a keyword, would you be interested in advertising on smartremote.com? It's going to probably make sense to them. They're already paying money to target the keyword. Why not use the domain name as well? With that said, we also want to see cost per click at $2 or higher. You can do lower amounts. You can use whatever it is you want to do, but I like to see $2 or higher. So we're kind of seeing strike 1, strike 2 on this domain name in the money realm, but it's a nice domain name. Glad we saw it. It would be a product play to make money, and that probably means it's out for me as well. Pulling up over into chat real quick, Domain Explorer is saying, hey, Drew, what if the domain name has a little similar keyword, but the rest of the data is their example, ads, search volume, etc. Has little similar keywords, but the rest of the data is okay. So what he is referring to here, I believe, he or she, they, is this column right over to my side here. That middle column are similar keywords. We want to see similar keywords ideally. We want to see when we do this Control F and put our keyword in, we want to see a lot of data there because that means our keywords are showing up in other searches. So our exact match has 900, but you can see this 1,000 over here. That means another 1,000 searches contain our domain name, or another 1,200 here. So, a few thousand domain names or a few thousand searches each month contain our domain name, and we can target those keywords, taking our domain name and expanding it out, expanding the reach, expanding the audience, and getting some product suggestions and things. Same with these questions over here, which we may use questions later on if we find a good domain name to talk about. Questions, force and give us an example of the content that we can start with. You don't know, at least I don't know anything about smart remotes. So if I'm going to buy a smartremote.com, I don't know what content to put on there. The questions right behind me here are where I would go to find the questions people are asking so I can answer them or provide a way for other people to answer them to generate content for a website. So I'm not sure if that answers the question or not. Hopefully we'll have some opportunities to dive into some pretty good stuff, and I'll drop some knowledge or something. You'll see that we skip over a lot of domain names: Fusion Cloud, Match Moving, Lamping, Mega Score. Like, they sound great, don't they? They sound like domain names like, ooh, that sounds like a domain name that's cool. I'd love to have a company called that. Maybe, but those are domain names that we call brandables. And if we go back over here, those are going to be the domain names that you would build the black tower over there with. So you would take a domain name, it sounds cool, therefore you build a website or build a business on top of it. It's not actually something that has authority already built into it. You will define what that domain, what does mega score mean? It means whatever the heck you want to build and define it as. Just like Google, there may be an actual definition of what Google means, but Google has taken it and turned it into a company. It means search. It means innovation. It means big business, taking little businesses' money, all that other stuff. I got to get my Google digs in. I can't resist. So those are brandables. So when I refer to a brandable domain name, or say that, oh, that's more of a brandable domain, I'm saying it's something that you could buy. You would have to check out the trademark on it, because trademark, you get into trademark stuff with that, trademark issues, that is. And then you would have to build something on top that you'd have to define. It's a lot harder to do. I've messed with it. So I prefer the generic route. Let's keep it basic. You can still build a great business. Visual learning. I'm a visual learner. Let's check out visual learning. So visuallearning.com. Oh, and I also, after we get through the first 200 domains here, I'm going to show you, I've resisted it, but I have a new way to do some searching in expired domains. It's new to me. It's something I've kind of thought about doing and haven't. And I'm going to stop being stubborn. I think it actually produces some good results. So I want to share it here with you. Visual learning style. Not sure why style got added there. That was weird. Searching again. So what we're doing here, this is just a gut check. My gut says that there's going to be some search volume with it. Not sure about the money aspect of it. But until I type it into SpyFu, I'm just going with my gut, and my gut can be wrong. Currently, I'm thinking, there's probably going to be like maybe 1,200 searches that are going to show up here. Probably not much money going on with it. Probably one advertiser, two advertisers, 25 cents a click. That's kind of where my gut is. I'm not going to like it, but I do like the domain name a little, if it ever shows up. This is not related to internet issues. I'm going to hack them a little bit because I don't got time for this. Ain't nobody got time for Spy Foo to have issues. Come on, Spy Foo. Oh my goodness. A new window. This is a fun time for Spy Foo to go down. Often. Okay, well, let's go check out SEM Rush. I no longer have it here, so we'll see what it lets me do. We were checking out visual learning. I seem to have broke it. Yeah. Naughty. I'm a naughty boy. Yeah, it works for you. Okay, well, hopefully it'll come up for me next. So I pulled up SpyFu because we are here live. So I do want to make sure that we keep things moving forward. We will see very similar data. It's in nerd format. It's not clean cut. So we see the keyword volume. I was guessing 1,200. It's actually closer to 5,000. That's good to know. Over here, you'll see the cost per click is listed at $247. The only thing is you'll see here that there's really nobody paying that. Like where that number comes from, no clue. No clue. It doesn't really matter if it's kind of like I'll pay $1 million. No, I won't. I don't actually exist. It's kind of what that's like. Like somebody out there, it's like the GoDaddy valuation on a domain name. This domain name's worth $8,000. Well, I want to sell it to that person. They don't exist. Like, it's not really worth $8,000. Okay. We're on the same page here. Okay, so we see some other questions. I'm going to do a Control F, although I've never used that on SEM Rush. But maybe we'll see some keyword data pop up and get some idea of the volume. There is volume, though. Like I like seeing 5,000 searches. That goes in line with kind of that gut. The gut says there's people looking for this. This is a thing. As a visual learner, visual learning is a thing. So the question is, now that we're not seeing really specific money, any advertising, how would you make money from visuallearning.com? And the question on that is, well, how would you make money? You can put up tutorials. You can put up maybe how to teach. Wouldn't visual teaching almost be better? Well, visual learning, you can, I don't know, put together puzzles. There's any number of different things you can do, but nobody's paying to target the keyword. But it does pass this. It passes that authority test right here, right? That idea of, hello, I'm with visuallearning.com. That sounds good. That sounds like it matters. It passes the authority test. And if you were to call maybe different educational places and you were to identify yourself as with visuallearning.com, it sounds like something that matters to them. So that's really what matters to whether you buy a domain name for the purpose of development, is whether the people that need to hear it and know it matters think it matters. And again, you can test it out. You can always call up a couple of people. I'm pretty sure there's no law with you saying, hey, I'm with visuallearning.com. Although if they type it in, they're going to see it's for auction. So maybe don't do that. You're just possibly bringing in competitors. But it might give you an indication of whether the domain's good. $33 currently, ending in 7 days. So this one will be ending before the show next week. A good domain name. I'm going to add it to my watch list. So the tactic is we want to make sure that we do not bid on a domain name within until the last 5 minutes or so. Between minute 6, minute 5 is the best time to bid on a domain name. So just realized I am showing the wrong screen. So 6 days or 21 hours left, so that's 7 days. And I added to my watch list. I probably value that one because I don't have a way to monetize it, but I do like the idea of possibly getting something out there on it. Probably like a 688 to 888 domain name. If I was to go after it, I would prefer one of you to get it if you're passionate about it, though. So, all righty. Let me check out SpyFu, see if it came back up. We'll let that load in the background. Moving on down the list, data monitoring is one of the one we featured right on the front screen of the site. I do like data monitoring. I know it's a thing. Actually, is it a thing? I guess I don't know it's a thing. Already up over $2,000. So if you were the owner of data monitoring, maybe you registered it back in late 90s, early 2000s or something, you had a $2,000 domain name. 1 day left, so you pretty much count on that domain name going up even higher. SpyFu seems to have loaded. See if we can break it again. I'm going to go ahead with a Control F. When I do the Control F, that is actually through the browser itself. So it's probably not something just like searching on the actual page. Actually, this is interesting. Interesting. So we're not really seeing any, I thought data monitoring would be part of other keywords, but it's not. It's not. So 360 searches for data monitoring, then scrolling down a little bit, one advertiser, and 33 cents per click. There's really not much happening here. Kind of shocking, actually. It sounds like a good domain name. My gut said it sounded like a good domain name. The data says it's shit. Hope you're not with your kids. Sorry if you are. But realistically, it's not a good domain name. Somebody's going to probably overpay for it because they go with their gut instead of trusting something else. So 44, data monitoring system. I saw data monitoring app show up when I did the keyword like up here. Data monitoring app, data monitoring team. So these are being fed off of, there are keyword searches for it, just not many. Basically what it comes down to is it's worth something, just not sure it's worth a couple $1,000s. I would appraise this one probably at $888 as far as a developer. The prices I give are for development. If you're buying low, hoping to sell high, who knows? You can always strike it rich and find that one knucklehead out there that really wants to be datamonitoring.com. Earmuffs. It's like I was waiting for you to do language. Language, Captain. Oh, man. Captain America. And what is it, the Avengers? Okay, let's move on here. Account recovery. I'm going to skip over that one, but account recovery sounds like it could be good. Hot sluts. Earmuffs. Actually like a pretty good domain name. You're getting into adult stuff, which I personally don't mess with. But I'm guessing there's a lot of keyword volume for it. Just got to turn on your adult filters or whatever. Precision tooling. That sounds like a business name, which there is some value in that. Unlocking doors. Let's check out unlocking doors. I am a big fan, as you know, of marketing domain names. These domain names, when you hear them, it's a phrase that you've said to somebody before. Like Drew's really unlocking doors to people, or there's doors being unlocked. Like this is a phrase that sounds like something people have said before. Maybe I'm mistaken. $42 currently, ends in a day. Let's go check out our buddy SpyFu. Well, I guess we pay them, so you can pay buddies. Sure, makes sense. I'll go with it. Not sure what I 100% did there. I am all over the place, sloppy fingers today. Control F is not showing really much going on. No advertisers, no cost per click. Looking over there for that, not seeing anything. Therefore, It sounds like a good domain name. Maybe you would like to own it if you were a locksmith, but the plural, unlocking doors, sounds like it's going to get confusing for people. So that's a near miss. I'm going to get rid of that one. Family centers. I don't know if family centers is a thing, but I could see it if they're like community centers for families. And if so, then this could be a search engine where people can find family centers. Only 200 searches for it. Family fun center. You'll see that there's a lot of stuff in between. So let's try this. Here's one way that you could use FamilyCenters.com. Family Centers could be a search engine to where you could find family health centers, family fun centers near me, which you know I love the near me title or tag on the end of searches, family resource centers. So these all have a decent amount of keyword searches, but yeah, this is what I kind of expected. There's not really anybody paying to advertise under family centers. Maybe under these other keywords, there might be some money being paid, and you can go after those industries by just saying, hey, I am with FamilyCenters.com. We'd love to have your family fun center listed on our site. $20 a month, $10 a month, $100 a year, whatever it is. You're a featured member on the site. We share it with you. Could end up working, maybe not. I agree with that, Matt. I don't think anybody's ever said he's unlocking doors for people. In fact, I locked my keys in my car just a couple weeks ago. It was embarrassing, but I went on towing.com, found a towing company to come save my butt. They were unlocking doors. I was not. Did I say they was? They were unlocking doors. Anyhow. Let's see. Let's get some good domains. Come out. Funny thing is, I think the best domain name I've seen so far was the Hot Sluts one. I hate to say it. I hate it, but it's true. Rent My Bike. We talked about that one last week. That'll be ending here shortly. Antique Door. Energy reduction. That sounds like something. Let's go find out. So as you can see, I'm clicking on each of these domain names. There's a couple different reasons for that. One, expireddomains.net is a free website. They make their money. When I click on that domain name, they get a referral fee from me. They get commission if I buy the domain name. So I appreciate their service and I want them to make their money. It does not cost you or me anything to click on the link and to be a good person helping and supporting that site. So we have advertising over $2, and there's actually somebody there that's paying it for energy savings, energyreduction.com. Not many searches, 90 searches for the exact one. Not really seeing anything happen in the similar keywords. I don't love it, but if you're selling some kind of product or service that helps reduce the energy you consume in your house or business, why not? Why not? It's a great brand, could be used for marketing purposes if nothing else. So I'm going to keep on moving on. Always looking for the good stuff. Virtual product. Ugh. Look, there's a line. There's a line of where too generic becomes true. A virtual product. Here you go. Skills School. Skills School. Typically I hate the middle S. I think I'd prefer the middle S on that domain name, but I don't like it enough to really do it. Splatters. It's a fun domain name to say. Splatters. Splatters.com. Okay, this one ends in 2 days. $105. This is probably going to fall in the brandable. I cannot imagine anybody is really searching for splatters. Not sure what just happened there. Again, yeah, I agree. It's fun. Like, Get your catering platters from Splatters. Don't know where that came from, but hey. Paint splatters, blood splatter. It's actually spatter, right? I just learned. It's not blood splatter, it's blood spatter. Anyhow, just, yeah. And no advertisers, nothing. So this would be one that's just kind of you buy because you like it. I do like it, actually. I'm going to add it to my watch list. So what do you do? How do you value a domain name that is based on just I like it? Well, then it comes up to your personal budget. A domain name like that, I might put up to 688 or something on it. That sounds like it could be a good price for that. Maybe. I don't know if I'll go that high, but that's just my personal preference type of thing. Yeah, and it's actually kind of funny. I was watching the Showtime show. I think it's on Netflix now. Dexter. I love Dexter. Great show, great writing, great acting. And it was on there literally last night. They said it's not blood splatter, it's blood spatter. Yeah. Anyhow, just interesting. Tracker store, Toe Life. I think I'm going to have to email somebody about that because I know a company that uses that. So anyhow, all right, moving on. That would be a brandable. Serum. Lone Stop? Lone Stop sounds, okay, so Lone Stop sounds like a brandable also. So it sounds like it's something to do with loans. GameStop's a popular brand, so Lone Stop sounds like it might be a brand also. So keyword volume is going to be almost nothing. You'd have to check trademarks and things, but that sounds like a pretty good domain name. 8 characters, easy to spell, easy to say. Going to keep moving on because we don't really talk about brandables. Edward, see you popping in, man. Nice to have you. Thedancers.com. You know, if you can't afford dancers.com, which probably super expensive, yeah, you know, the dancers. I don't like adding, like, they're so. Dancers.com is a super expensive domain name, and I get it. You know, it's probably going to be a 6-figure domain name or so. But if you're going to add a word to a domain name, the is actually not my favorite word. I usually would prefer like my dancers or get dancing or become a dancer. Like, I would rather go towards an action word versus the dancers. Anyhow, that's kind of a preference. The gets in the way. It's a pointless word in a domain name. I've fallen for that. I've spent a lot of money on domain names with the in it, and they just don't work out. They just are kind of a waste. Community Circle, just pointing it out, kind of an interesting domain name. Mortgage Investors, that's one that I put in the title screen. I don't even know if it's any good. I don't know if there is a thing called Mortgage Investors, but it sounded like a thing. So I figured it's a good opportunity to test whether it's a thing. A thing. Yeah, it's not really a thing. Yeah, so we got 90 searches for Mortgage Investors. I see some Mortgage Investors Group, Mortgage Investors Group Knoxville, Mortgage Investors Corporation. Not really a whole lot happening here. You do see some questions where to find mortgage investors. This is probably people that they're looking for personal underwriting. Here is why I went ahead and added this. Cost per click, well over $2, and there's over 10 people advertising trying to reach this kind of keyword. So the volume is really low, but the opportunity is still there. Some of these keywords you don't need a ton of volume. What you need is just a nice little niche industry that people will spend money on it and are looking for their beachhead, their way to attack an industry. That's exactly what this domain could be for you if you work in the mortgage industry at all. Mortgage investors. Hey, I'm Drew. I'm with mortgageinvestors.com. That sounds official. That found, like, at least me as an outsider, that sounds good. I don't know if it is. I'd have to do some little more research on that. But mortgageinvestors.com still sounds like a good domain name. Ends in 4 days, $85 currently. I could see that getting carried away price-wise because it just happens with anything with money words in it. Just gets carried away. Mortgage, bank, sometimes just go for way more than what they're worth. Best rehabilitation. So that would be so instead of the dancers, you can go with best dancers, top dancers, something like that. I like those instead of the. Let's check out best rehabilitation. Five days left in the auction. Currently, it is a minimum bid. And if you know, do not bid. Do not bid on one of these domain names early. You got to wait, and you should wait until as late as you possibly can to put in your max proxy bid. The reason being, once you bid on a domain name, it grabs attention. People like me just monitor for domain names that people are bidding on, and we want to make sure we didn't miss out. So if you want a bunch of domain investors like myself to know about your domain name, bid early. It's as simple as that. Do you want others to know about it? Then bid early. If you want to keep it to yourself and have less of a chance of having to bid against other people, then bid late. The bots, there are bots, there's computer programs that buy domain names. You're not going to, trick them, but you can. And there's people like that will miss it, and that's what you're trying to do. Not really much happening with it. I do like seeing, wait, what just happened here? What? See what's going on? Like, okay, SpyFu is having some whack stuff. It shows mortgage investors here still, best rehabilitation here. What are you doing, SpyFu? We're trying to do a live show here. Come on now. My goodness gracious. Okay. Rehabilitation center near me. Rehabilitation centers near me. So this is a good opportunity for us to do a control. This is so weird. That's what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and do the control F. We're going to highlight the best rehabilitation centers near me, 900 searches. So the actual best rehabilitation is 20. It's nothing. The keyword's kind of dead. But we can see here that there are other keywords happening. And I do like seeing rehabilitation center near me. So best rehabilitation. I don't know if it goes with center. Adding center to it, like rehabilitation.com, yes, you could do rehabilitation centers as a section of your website. I don't know if best rehabilitation does. You could try it. If you can get it for cheap, why not? No harm in trying. It's not really a thing for me, not something I'm going to go pursuing. So I'm down to about 10 minutes. So what I want to do is I want to go show you what it is. In fact, I see Fred popping in here. Fred, welcome. Yes, you are late, but yeah, I'll give you the recap here in a few. Fred, I believe, is actually, templategallery.com. Let's click on this one real quick before we go jumping into the next thing. I want to show you the new way of searching. And I think Fred is the one that has advocated for the search that I'm going to do. And I kind of was like, I don't like to do it that way. And now, so he's going to be here just in time for me to show that he was right and I was wrong. Okay, so here we go. Template gallery. That's what I was kind of thinking. So 660 searches. Look at this. Lots of good Control F stuff. Let's toss this up here. This may be my favorite domain name of the day. Here we go. Google Docs, template gallery. Google Drive, template gallery. Template gallery, template gallery. Website template gallery, logo template gallery. This is a thing. This is something that we kind of looks pretty good on. Wow, looks crazy on my screen, and it sounds weird. Okay. So no advertisers though. Zero cost or 79 cents per click. So the numbers look pretty bad on this, but I do love the domain name. There is search volume related to it. So this is actually one of my favorite domain names of the day. Again, ends in 5 days. And it's currently at like a minimum bid. So there's only $12 bid. Do not bid. You're like, oh, but it's only $12, Drew. I want to. No, don't bid. Just hold off. Wait as long as you can. And when less than 6 minutes left, so 5 minutes and 10 seconds left, put in your max proxy bid. You will be up against me on this one because I am going to bid on it. I will be $300 to $700 at least. So just so you know. And you can always, I guess I should have been mentioning this, you can check us out over on community.dtp.tv. Let me put that up on the screen. This is where you could go. That is our community website. Type that bad boy in, and you will head over to our community. And if you're going to bid on this, just let us know or message me personally. You can tweet at me as well. So there you go. That is where you can go to let us know. And the reason why I share that is I want a domain to profit listener, viewer, to be the one that buys these domain names. Realistically, I will not likely develop template gallery for a few years. So do I really need it? No, I don't. I really don't. It's not perfect for my business model. Therefore, I'm going to not mess with it. Okay, so I'm going back up to the top, and here's what I want to do now. I want to adjust this. The search is all the same. All the filters are the same that we're using. In fact, I will bring those up just to show them. No numbers, no hyphens, English, 1 to 3 words. We go out 8 days, just so that way we include next Monday, just in case it ends before the end of the show. And then we go over here to additional.com. So what we are going to be changing is the order of things. We're going to show it in an order that is new. Sorry, that cracked myself up. Oh, okay. That's from 21 Pilots, the song. They want to play chords in an order that is new. Anyhow, sorry, there's all these inside jokes in my head. So the next piece that we need to do is you need to get your columns set up similar to the ones I have above. To set up your columns, then you can go over here to this column manager. And the column that I want to make sure that you add in, we've added in under General. Under General, we made sure to add in the registrar. And then we want to add in some Google Ads data. You want to add in cost per click, or the GPC. And as you can see, it says approximate. I don't talk about cost per click much based on the data, the Google data, because it may go away. Google's been talking about getting rid of it to where they don't share it with outside sites like expireddomains.net. So I've tried to not make a big deal out of this. This is where I was wrong. I should have made a big deal out of this. So this is, I believe it was Fred that mentioned that I should talk about cost per click. And here's what I want to do. I want to order the exact list that we've been looking at. All the exact same domain names over on GoDaddy. All we just did was order them by the cost per click. And I've talked about this previously. And when I did this, you'll see a lot of the domain names that are up on there are actually very much like domains that are like garbage domains. The only thing about it is no matter which way we filter this and which way we order it, there's always going to be garbage domains on there. So why not like try it, right? Why not experiment with it? Which is exactly what I was looking at this morning. And so I went ahead and played with it. And I was actually kind of shocked with some of the results I had. So one of the things I wanted to make sure to show you today, we may not do it on the show typically, but we may. We want to order by the cost per click and check out some of these domain names. So here's how this is going to work. You'll see Zap Join. That's the kind of garbage that I'm used to seeing. And really what it comes down to is just like we have to ignore many of the domain names that show up when we order by valuation, we just have to go through and ignore many of the domain names that are on top ordered by cost per click. But what I was finding was there are actually some pretty good domain names mixed in here. And here's the beauty. Let's just go ahead and do this a little bit. Top answering service, we can go look at that. Sorry, let me try to zoom out here. Top answering service. What I like about this is you'll see this domain name is appraised at $922. Is that visible? Yes. No, it's behind me. Yeah. So you'll see right here, pink, like. Oh my goodness. Okay. My face is so bright red now. So this domain name is only $922, is what the appraisal by GoDaddy is. So that means it's a cheaper domain name. It's just not a domain name that I'm looking for domains, and this is what I like about ordering by CPC, or the cost per click, is I found a lot more cheap domains that have no bidders, have lower values, are not domain names I would have found if I would have ordered by valuation. But Top Answering Service may be a good domain name. It's only $12, ends in 4 days, and I want to go over here. Hopefully this doesn't take me over on time too much, but I do want to spend a little bit of time looking down through here. So we're looking at keyword data on this. Not a whole lot happening, but a top 10 answering services, $125. I don't know anything about answering services. There are some advertisers, but they're not really paying much. And this is one of the things that drives me nuts between like the list, the data Google puts out, and like SpyFu. SpyFu is like typically a little more accurate. They use the same Google data, but they filter out a lot of the Google BS. Google likes to make things seem better than what it is. So, but it's worth looking at. I mean, it's a cheap domain name. It might go for cheap. And I really want you to have opportunities that others don't just because you watch Domain to Profit. That's why you should subscribe. That's why you should like, is because I'm trying to bring you opportunities that others don't. Others try to keep this stuff secret, and I'm just like, here you go, up on a platter. Answering service companies, not a huge fan of that combination, but it's a really freaking long domain name. Appraisal is really low, but it does pass that idea of if you were to call a company, if you were to call an answering service company, which they're basically what a lot of small businesses will use to, there'll be an answering service they'll pass a message on. So they can hire an answering service company. Those companies might want to advertise on here. Answering service companies near me, 360. This is 90. 25. Look at this. Boom. See, this is what Drew. Okay, this is like legit stuff. 25 advertisers, $43 per click. Do you think there's blood in the water? Do you think it's a red ocean where there's blood in the water? All these answering services are beating up on each other, trying to target this keyword. And now you have the opportunity to buy this domain name. Like, there you go. I personally am not going to pursue this domain name, but this is one of the ways that you can look through these expireddomains.net domains, order by the CPC, and find some good domains. Now, I will warn you, there are domains there that are going to be garbage. Many of these are going to be garbage. You want to check the industry, do a little more research, type them into Google, check things out. But I mean, that meets all of our data, right? That meets all of our that's what we're looking for. And please don't call me, don't buy that domain and just try to turn around and sell it. If I wanted it, I would have bought it. So I did see a couple other ones that I was really surprised with, and that's why I am bringing this to you. Again, we are skipping through a lot of garbage domains, a lot of domain names that could be good, could be bad. But really, for the most part, a lot of them are local domain names. Anytime it has a location on it, you can pretty much count that the domain name it has a high price because of the location. Local pest solutions. That doesn't sound too bad. Look, it only praises $1,000. We would never show that typically on the show, but because we're ordered by CPC, we do get it. Correct? And it's Happy Litter, Best Roofers Orlando. Those local sites, business travel site. We saw that the other way. No, we didn't. No, we did not. We saw a different business travel. But business travel site, maybe. And I'm not clicking into all these. I'm just trying to kind of show you. You'll see we're skipping over a lot of domain names still. But some of the domain names we're finding, they have low appraisals. These are not domains you're going to find when you order by the appraisal. And that's just helpful. It's just a nice new way to look at the domain names. Okay, so there you go. That's what I wanted to show you. So yeah, we're in extra innings. Let me go ahead and summarize things real quick. I'm going to go ahead and hit down through the domain names that we've looked at. We've looked at smartremote.com ending in 3 days, and this one is over $1,000 currently. Visuallearning.com ends in 7 days. So it'll be just before the show next week. Currently $33. I do like it. Just keyword volume was off a little bit. Data monitoring, probably the best sounding domain name, but the data did not back it up. It's going for too much. I feel bad for the buyer. Hopefully they figure out a way to make some money off it. Energyreduction.com. It sounds like a good one. Ends tomorrow, $317. I just don't know how you'd make money off of it. Maybe a blog. Maybe you just want to be like a blog and you're environmentalist and you just want to help people, save energy, something. Splatters. It just sounds cool. Let's see here. Lone Stop. Again, kind of just a cool sounding brand, but not something that keyword data would back up. Mortgageinvestors.com. Again, sounds like it matters. The keyword data, there was some there. There was some value. But if you work in the mortgage industry, it has some authority. If you were to call people, they will go, oh, yeah, that sounds real. At least I assume that it would. I don't work in the industry, so do your own research. Best Rehabilitation, it misses, but still a starter, pretty good domain name to get going with. Template Gallery, like I said, probably one of the best domain names I saw because there are template galleries. These are things, and you can search through them, buy templates or whatever else for numerous different products, photo galleries, anyhow. Top Answering Service. This is where we got into ordering by the cost per click through our expireddomains.net filtering. And we found this one just sitting there, $12. And even better, the answering service companies. It's long, but if you're using it over the phone, hey, I'm with answeringservicecompanies.com, and we want to list your company there for $20 per month, save you some advertising, help you get a reach, something. Sounds like something worth spending money on, even if it is the world's longest domain name. It's not the world's longest domain name, but it is long. So there we go, folks. That is our extra innings, the extra innings version of Domain to Profit. Hope you found some good stuff. Hope you got some value. Hope you found a domain name that you're going to pursue and develop. Turn it into some value for the world. Take a little value for yourself. That is what we are off of. So I appreciate you being with me. Remember, we're back here each week, Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you have not, please hit the subscription, hit the like, and I appreciate you. And if you're watching this on a restream, you can also comment. We do check the comments, and we do try to respond to any questions or things. So I appreciate you. Take care.